Sometimes, exploring means observing and learning. I'm author and researcher Mike Luoma. I've been helping property owner Dan Everett assess a possible stone site on his land since he first got in touch back in February. I first visited the site in mid-May. NEARA took interest in the site, the New England Antiquities Research Association. I helped lead a NEARA field trip in mid-July and joined NEARA for a 2-day research trip in mid-October as they helped Dan gather samples for OSL dating, optically stimulated luminescence dating. Dan's having testing done by the Luminescence Lab at USU, Utah State University. The first day began with Dan showing the group around to some of the stone assemblages which might be tested.
I only could see like 3 or 4, and I cut through right here. And I just didn't, like there's one there, but I didn't think much of it. But the ones through here, when I saw this, I guess I thought maybe some people come up, rock hounds, and had their kids born or something.
No.
But I didn't know what they were. But now, I could only see like 3 or 4 right here. And I walked through, and when I walked through, I completely went by a lot of them. But now that I've come back through, what happens is I'll be cleaning one and find that I've marked it years ago.
Right.
I just wasn't putting, I'd find something here, I would find something down there, I would find something way over there. And it was never like in my same path. So I would just flag it and not think much about it.
Do you GPS them also when you flag them or not?
I have now.
Archaeologist Dr. Curtis Hoffman, author of 2018's Stone Prayers, Native American Stone Constructions of the Eastern Seaboard, joined us to help assess which stone features would make the best candidates for OSL testing. Dan and Harvey Buford, president of NEARA, helped clear stone features of newly fallen leaves ahead of the group. NEARA treasurer Diane Plunkett helped lead the trip along with Harvey. OSL dating works on stones and dirt and allows dating where organic material isn't available, and you need organic material to do carbon-14 dating. This OSL dating could give us our first idea of how old these stone features are.
Side is almost smooth.
Yeah.
And the guy at the lab, told me, because I brought one of them in, and he said it would have taken thousands of years for this rock to have weathered like it did. And it's obvious it's sitting up. And the bottom, what was exposed up in the pile, is all rough like that on the top, but the whole backside that didn't get weathered is completely smooth.
Okay.
And I thought some of those rocks were naturally porous, and he told me no, they're not. It's because of the calcium.
Calcium?
Calcium is dissolving and leaving the rough texture.
And the red color?
No, the red color is, we have iron oxide. Red Hill Mine is about 3 miles that way.
All right. Okay.
And it was a paint mine in the 1800s.
Okay.
I actually have a baggie, I'll show you down there, of paint from the 1800s.
So that's specular hematite.
Yep. And it's all, we have quite a bit of it. You'll see more up there in Magic Rock. But this was the first one I cleaned off for Harvey. And when I cleaned all this off, and the last thing I did was there was moss on that.
Oh, yeah.
And I flipped it, and when I did, the pestle was sitting there right
on the mortar. Yeah.
Sitting right, it had been sitting right there all these years.
Yeah.
That essential tool of archaeology, the leaf blower. I'll try not to subject you to too much of that. You may hear more music than usual.
For some reason, this spot, if you get this stuff, Harvey, what I had wondered To me, this kind of reminded me of like schools of fish, because it's like a pile, but then loose boulders, and then another pile.
There's a little standing stone in there.
It was a real treat touring the site alongside Dr. Curtis Hoffman, his wife Toby, researcher Harvey Lippman, the NEARA research team, and Dan.
Okay. A little balanced rock over here. Right here.
Yeah.
Harvey. What we-
There's a niche here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the other one.
Oh, yeah.
NEARA Director at Large Vance Tiddy led the sampling efforts.
The west
That's why it's
is
always reminded me of fish
close to a
schools coming
0
up. I
degree
think this is
altitude,
based on the
whereas the other one,
Hasn't it?
90 degrees.
Okay, take a look at this one.
Vance would later try to get an OSL dating sample from that niche. NEARA researcher Gary Alejandro assisted in helping take the OSL samples and more.
That happens. Oh yes, that'll buy. Okay, one of the things that I've seen occasionally at sites, you know how we talk about having white quartz rocks?
Yep.
I was at a site in Holliston, I think it was Holliston or Hoffman, where they were black rocks.
Yep.
And that might be what we got here.
A quartz?
Not quartz,
okay.
no. They were black stone.
That black stone.
Like that black stone.
This would have been worn completely smooth, but now it's like this from the calcium dissolving
Question,
that's in it.
what is the evidence for there being calcium?
My buddy Al runs the lab at the Maine Mineral Museum.
Okay,
And he
okay.
ran it through his equipment and tested
Good enough.
it.
Okay, satisfactory.
No, I brought it right in.
Yeah.
The Maine Mineral Museum is one of the best mineral museums
Oh yeah, I've
in
been
the
there.
country now.
Yeah.
And Al Falster is he's really into this. He's actually been adopted by 2 tribes
Okay.
for work that he's done, and he really knows his.
So what did you bring in?
Al? Just pieces of this. A couple of my my pestles are made of the same stuff.
Oh, that's how you did it. He tested the
So what
pestle,
is the
but the
ground
pestle was the
mass
same
there?
material.
Same material. What's
Well,
that?
what did he say the ground mass was, the main material?
You know what? We had so many conversations, I don't even remember.
All right,
But
because we were looking at that black rock in the previous pile, and I thought I saw phenocrysts in it, so I thought it might be a porphyry.
well, I'll show you another piece that I brought into him that I thought looked like fire damage. And what he told me was, it took him about an hour to figure out what it was. He said it is sulfur, a high sulfur content in the rock, but the sulfur is reacting with the natural sunlight and turning black.
Okay, it's oxidizing.
Yep.
Yep.
And it looks like flame hit it. It looks like smoke damage. I'll show it to you.
Well, sun is a
And-
source of fire.
Right. But he said
As we
no.
are finding out today,
It's
it's the
natural.
whole deal. Yeah.
So he said it looked like it was there naturally.
Dan got to explain the waterfall effigy idea in detail.
The whole thing has, like over there, it turns to that brown quartz. It's
Yeah.
all through there. And there's like a channel that you can see. It looks like, here's one here, that they placed these in. The cracks,
Uh-huh.
see one right there?
Yeah.
They follow a channel through here, going this way. They're all through, you can see, here's a brown one here, but they go all the way through here and down that way.
There's a natural wet spot here.
So it's a natural looking waterfall that I think, like I said, this was all pulled back right in this one spot. And then I found that piece of quartz right behind you, the smaller one off to your right.
So where did all this quartz come from? Because it didn't come out of this way.
Some of it's natural.
Well, this right here is.
Those are natural.
This is part of
That's
of the
probably
landscape
natural,
right here.
but this
Yeah,
isn't.
but that's been chipped.
Yes, but I mean, what's left there
This is a different quartz right here.
was there
Than
for
that.
a long time.
Well, see, the thing is that quartz
It's
depends
it's loose
upon-
though. It's sitting
yeah.
here loose.
Okay.
It's loose. It's set there. Maybe in there naturally, but like that, that was sitting here and I
Yeah.
took it and that's, I brought
Oh,
it
okay.
back.
All right. See, quartz, depending upon the amount of iron and maybe sulfur content, is going to discolor on the surface. And that's what you're seeing over here. Whereas in other places where it has not yet been exposed, it will remain white, or even better, crystal clear.
I have a picture of this. It's unbelievable. I should figure out what day and what time it was. The sun hit it perfect, and
Yeah.
it looks like I messed with the photo to make it glow, and I didn't. The whole thing is just glowing.
Now that one over there, that looks like it's got a bunch of plagiate clays feldspar in it.
And probably that one right there too.
Yes.
How about
Well, no, not as much.
What about this pretty little thing right here?
That's
I have a-
rose quartz.
I have a lot of that around here.
What is that?
Rose quartz, and there's a bit of iron in the quartz that colors
That's
it red.
different than this one, because this has.
That's different. See the blocky cleavage on that?
Yeah, and I was gonna
Gravel and boulders, and there was a huge hole right here. So I'm thinking they probably dug this out, filled this, and I'll explain why in a second. But I came through, wanted my four-wheeler trail, so I pushed this all back and put it in the hole. But then I got thinking about it afterwards, and here's what I'm thinking. If you look at the river, and I'll send you some diagrams, the river starts in Umbagog Lake. I think Magic Rock represents Umbagog Lake. You'll see why better when we get up there. But here's the thing, the water comes out of Umbagog Lake, and it's flat all the way to Berlin, and then it drops. So you have what I think could represent Umbagog Lake up there. You come out about 20 or 30 feet, and then it drops to this. If that represented the lake, it would be perfect showing the lake, the flat river, and then the drop, which would be more cliffs. And then there's a long flat, they call it Deadwater. All the way from Berlin, New Hampshire to Rumford, it's dead water. There's no white water, it's flat. So before I did this, this was actually made flat all the way through here.
Right over there.
And this had been filled. So that's what got me thinking, well, maybe it comes back this way. But once we get up there, you'll see more. Once you see that rock, you'll realize that, you know, if I always thought it was special, I'm sure somebody back in the day would have. I'll probably clean more of it off. I pulled off some trees. I come on here with a rubber track excavator and pulled a lot off.
Has your geology guy been up here?
No, but he's kind of going nuts over this.
Magic Rock is Dan's name for this amazing striped rock at the top of this slope.
Interesting geological formation.
Isn't it awesome?
And with the dike running through it?
Yeah, and that's all pigmatite, isn't it?
Yeah,
but this
pegmatite
is not.
intrusion there and quartz over here.
This is
Yeah.
this is a bedded deposit.
Yeah. Yep.
You think this is
Sedimentary. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a sedimentary, and if you look with, my loop is down there, but any of this that you come into and see,
Yeah.
it's full of little tiny, like half the size of a pinhead, little purple garnets,
Oh, okay.
all through it.
Okay.
Only that layer, which I can probably find. It's this layer right here. Some of them you can make out with your eyes that are back. Trust me, I've been over this. You don't know how many
I couldn't
hours.
even figure out that lock, that combination, because the numbers were so small on the dial.
I've been all over this thing with a loop, looking at everything.
No, everything is still attached.
So what's happened here is that this has been metamorphosed
Yep.
and tilted
Yep.
90 degrees to its original bedding.
And this runs right through and stops at the quartz.
I gotta be honest with you, I've never seen a deposit of rock like this in the state of Maine.
Well, that's why I think this meant something. And if you come over here and then you look, it kind of makes sense what I'm saying.
Okay, so I see the analogy to water flow.
Right. And then if you look though, you've got this, and then it drops. Then it goes straight and drops again, just like the river naturally does in its course. And it starts that way. It's 126 miles by river to get to the lake, but it's only about a 25-mile drive to drive there.
Okay.
The lake is north of us that way.
This to scale with the lake. In other words, if you took an aerial of this
Probably fairly close.
and then superimposed it on a map of the lake and enlarged it to the size,
Could be.
that's
But
one way to test this hypothesis.
this way, and I just thought it was odd, but as I look at those, I think they were all part of this coming down. Because there's a lot of stonework going this way, but I'll send you guys the LiDAR images because I drew on them, and this actually shows as being a square. I got 3, one of them I brought with me to show you, but 3 pestles were sitting right here. And you've got all these spots you can grind on.
And it's rather interesting they leave the tools. I mean, it's not like...
Why do they lift in
Why
a hurry?
carry it? It's a rock. If you're gonna use it the next year,
Yeah.
come back
Well,
every year.
you know, but I'm trying to think, you know, it's not like it's a snap-on tool where you would put it back in your tool chest. And,
Yeah.
Why carry a rock back to the river when you can just grab another one?
That's the whole point, is nobody carries rocks.
So leave
And they
them.
don't have to.
Leave them here.
Okay.
Interesting stone right here.
No kidding.
But all the flake from this side is put up here. All these flakes came off it.
All the exfoliation.
Yep. And this kind of starts the site right here. And if they were coming in from Rumford, they would be coming this way right here.
Okay.
They'd be coming through this knot.
So this is like the sentiment.
They'd be coming in from the east.
From the east, yes. North that way, east that way.
Which I think is significant.
Yeah.
I've been on Magic Rock when the sun rises, and it hits it and shoots right down the rock work, heading that way when the sun comes up on the
Parallel to the grooves or not? Or perpendicular?
No, perpendicular. It ends up shooting like that way.
Across. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I found this years ago, and I just said, huh, that's odd. And once again, I thought maybe some kids were out here bored, and I'm like, why would anyone be bored with that?
No.
So, like I said, the voice in my head has always said, don't touch it. And I haven't even lifted one and looked at it.
Right.
There may be 2 or 3 stones out there that I have lifted and moved.
And you can see the crack in the stone here. See it?
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that,
Yeah. So that's another place where it could exfoliate off. Or here.
Yeah, this is exfoliated.
Yeah.
Now, just to let you know, when we kind of lost Doug, he was behind us. And then he showed up right over here, so I don't know what path he took. And he goes,
He has his own ways of doing
he
things.
said, I saw a carving. And I said, where? He said, I don't know, it was back there. And I said, what was it of? And he said, you're gonna have to find it yourself, because if I told you what it was, you wouldn't believe me. And he wouldn't tell me what it was.
But I think, okay, what this showed to me is what we've got in terms of soil horizon.
Correct.
And that's useful.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's a third.
Yeah, right. Now, the other thing to do here, we talked about taking a sample at a slant,
Correct.
going underneath the thing,
Correct.
to see if you can pick up any
Correct.
organics.
So, do you want to do that before we get the tent set up?
Whatever.
Because you're going
Yeah.
to be sampling underneath what I'm going to be sampling.
Most likely.
Because I'm taking right at the bottom of the rock. You're going to be.
Somewhat deeper.
So when you actually, and that's, I would think that should be first, then when you pull it, you're done, and you pull the tent off, we can go to that hole and
Yeah,
sample further
that's good.
underneath
Okay.
directly.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
That way you're not risking disturbing it.
So
That's
we,
right.
So we need the certificate. The certificate you can do anywhere.
We just did.
Okay. But do we want to collect a core in a PVC pipe because we didn't bring one, so we can't.
Well, there you have it.
Okay.
There's the answer to that question.
But what we can do is take a.
We can take a soil core and put that into a bag. And you want to do that maybe up gradient.
Uphill, like up
Well, you
there.
got influence
As long as
there.
they're not another, as long as there's another rock pile
Well,
immediately
you
in
got
front of
one
us.
there.
Sure.
Because
Okay.
then we're picking up his. The whole
Of
point
course.
of the
We got
control.
three uphill, 4. 1, 2,
I think I don't.
3 over here, and 4 just over the.
Kurt took soil samples upslope, downslope, and underneath the stone features to be tested.
Do you have a Sharpie? AS 43.
Getting rock everywhere here. And,
What you're talking about erosion on the upslope? That's what we're running into.
well, no, it's the opposite. You know, in other words, the topsoil is deeper here than it was below, which is
That's-
bizarre.
Yeah.
But let me have the bag, if you will, because I want to ditch this sample and take another one.
Give me 5 seconds.
Tell you what, if you can hold the bag open, I'll just dump the sample into
I
it.
can do that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got topsoil, and this is blank. Great.
I'm running into a lot of rock in there. Oh, that one. Ah, that's good.
Oh, that was a nice one.
Yeah. But still all topsoil.
You need to scrape off the topsoil with a shovel a little bit to get
No, that's okay. I mean,
Go right
it's
through
what
it.
it is. You know, as long as we know what it is. So there's been more downslope erosion on the downslope side.
Yep.
What I'll do is record the distance from the rock pile to
Well, that's a more deep sample, but again, it's all topsoil.
Wow. And you're going down.
Oh yeah. 12 inches.
30 centimeters.
Yeah. Oh, we got a little bit of subsoil here.
Oh, yeah. You see that,
Yeah.
dark mineral.
Yeah. Is this enough?
If we could get, if you go deeper and you get that lighter colored sand stuff.
I don't think I can. There's too
Okay.
much root and
All
rock
right,
here.
that's the answer then. Okay.
Okay, so that'll do?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Gary, if you can hand that to Dr. Hoffman. And I say read off, give me the link.
Got it. There's more rock.
Here, we go to the third one.
You may have more rock here than you thought you did.
See, I thought I did, and I was surprised he was hitting over here, because I was probing, and over here I was down like 22 inches where I thought I was comfortable as far as being at the bottom. But then when he dug over here, I was a little baffled. I'm like, you're down there
Just
already?
going to go at an angle underneath the center of the mass of the rock pile.
He's taking, I'm sorry, he probably just done it. He's taking.
Here we go. That's a little better.
He's taking the.
Most of it there anyway. Yeah,
Okay, this is what we got from here.
Somebody needs to direct them to a second rock pile that we are going to OSL sample.
So some over here, it'd be helpful to have you look at it and agree with
Okay.
the spot.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh, excuse me.
Goes to whoever's collecting these.
Who's collecting the samples there?
Right here.
Okay, there you go, right there.
need more?
Sure. To make it comparable to the control.
Is this going to be one of your tests?
Yes, sir.
And where are you going to take the hole?
Wherever you tell me to. Wherever you want to set up the tent.
This is just the first tent, and this was my last chance to look inside. The tent would be covered with several tarps to seal out the light.
I know from experience, we use every tent we have, then we start stripping our clothes and stuffing them into all of it. You don't have to just look at it. It's got like 3 positions or whatever.
It's at the bottom two.
Okay.
Those are your main lights.
Okay, all right.
Vance and Gary work and dig in the dark, wearing headlamps in red and red-orange frequencies that won't impact the sample. Once they're in the tent, there's not much to see. It seemed to take 45 minutes to an hour to take a sample under the tent, as they dug down in front of the stone feature so they could then dig under it to take the sample for OSL testing. The sample was taken and the tent removed. The blue bag holds the soil removed when digging for the sample. It would be replaced after some documentary photos were taken. But that would wait until the next morning. It had been a full day one. We had dinner on the mountain as Dan made us all his beef stew. The next morning, I asked Vance if I could document his process. As there wasn't much to hear, and you'd have to listen to a leaf blower cleaning other piles to be sampled, we'll go with music. After Vance took his photos, Gary refilled the hole they'd dug by hand. Please remember, although you see digging here, it's being done carefully and non-intrusively by researchers trained in both sample retrieval and cultural sensitivity. You should never disturb stone features when you find them in your travels. As I'm not trained, I didn't dig around any stone features. And again, unless you're properly trained for this, neither should you. This process would be repeated for each stone feature sample. Day 2 is all about taking samples for OSL testing. Setting up tents, making sure they were sealed tight with no light leaks, and then waiting while the researchers in the tent did their work. Harvey and Diane are taking this sample while Gary waits. The samples have been sent off for testing. We'll see if they can tell us how old these stone features are. Day 2 ended with a bonfire and more great food from Dan. My thanks again to Dan for first reaching out and for continuing to bring me in as the process of site evaluation continues. Thank you to Harvey Buford, Diane Plunkett, Vance Teedy, and Gary Alejandro from NEARA. I'm also a member, but as I'm not trained in sample gathering, I learned a great deal. Thank you to archaeologist Curtis Hoffman and his wife Toby for joining us. I've been reporting stone sites to Kurt via email, so it was a pleasure to meet in person. And thank you to researcher Harvey Lipman for insights along the tour of the site. And my personal thanks to Amanda Riani for her company and support on this weekend. I'm Mike Luoma. Thank you for watching and sharing a little of this experience of a NEARA research trip to this special site in Maine with me.